ever since I was a little kid, I've always believed in the supernatural. I believe that there's like more to life than just what we see. I think that there's more out there. And my reason for this is when I was 9 years old, I was in year 4. It would have been 2005. Yeah, I know that's quite young and maybe my imagination is a bit vivid at that time, but it just happened too physically. It just felt so real, like hitting yourself something like that real. So the tour guide was talking. We were just in front of this corridor. So we're in this hall. At the back. I was a bit curious at that age, so I decided to stand in the doorway of where this long corridor was, while the tour guide was talking about this apparent ghost who used to run screaming through the hallway, like loads of sightings and people felt it and things like that. And as I was standing there, literally seconds as I walked in, I felt this like enormous gust of wind, like a storm, but like hitting me, but it didn't feel quite like wind. It was sort of about as thick as water, but not wet, if you get what I mean. It's hard to explain, but it was just sort of like very cold and very fast, and it just felt really weird. But it didn't like have the same effect as what wind or what would do to you. So my clothing didn't move, and my hair didn't go back. And instead of just touching my skin and going around it, it felt like it went right through. Like I wasn't even there, so it just went into the skin, into the meat, the bone, back out again, out of my back, and it was just a bit odd because while I was standing there, I was just a bit dazed for a while, and when this happened, my class was behind me, and this whole thing must have taken probably less than a second because it was fast, like a fast storm, and my class had somehow got in front of me. They've somehow walked past me, walked a few yards down the corridor to the end, and they've all turned around staring at me. And I only noticed them when someone said, "Ciaran, are you alright?" And I was just like, I looked up and suddenly they're all there, and I'm really confused at this point in time. I didn't tell anyone, I just said, "Yeah, I'm fine, just feeling a bit odd," and walked off and didn't mention it. But it was just, to this day I've been so confused about it, because more the fact that how did they manage to get past me rather than, someone runs into me, and then suddenly time has somehow stopped for me, and these people have managed to go to the other side of the corridor. And it was just never really understood what it could have been. And this is why to this day I still do it, almost every now and again I research ghosts, what they could be. I mean, if it is a ghost, I don't always like saying that because, I don't know, they're still another life form if they are, but I've just never really understood what they are. The second experience, probably say about 2008 or 2009, and it happened here in this house, well, on the landing, mainly outside the bathroom. And this used to be my brother's room here, and my brother and his mate Ryan were sitting just playing a game, and I'd walked in the room there, just behind us, was my bedroom at the time, and I'd walked up to talk to them. Just say, "Look, so what game are you playing?" Everything, just general chat. And then as I turned around to go back, I saw a woman walking into the bathroom, but the door was kind of open. It was like half open, half closed, if you go on me. Say there's the door, there's the wall, there's the doorway, and it's just sort of about there, so you can still see the bathroom. And you sort of saw a woman slide round into it, and then I looked and there was nobody there, nobody in the bathroom. And as I turned and said to my brother and his friend, "I think I just saw somebody walk into the bathroom." They said it's probably Mum, but it wasn't, because she was downstairs. Because I knew she was downstairs because I'd just spoken to her before that. And so then as I turned around again, I saw exactly the same thing happen, but the woman never came out of the bathroom. And it was literally almost like the same footage put around again. Yeah, so then I spoke to them again. I said, "Okay, I've just seen somebody walk into the bathroom and it's not Mum. It's not right." It was just this woman, and she was like had long, dirty, dark hair. And she was wearing this sort of like a nightie, like a gown, and it just, I don't know, just that really shocked me. And the second time I saw her, it was roughly about 2 months after, and it was quite late, I'd say about 10, 11, and so my bedroom was there, and I was lying down, my door was wide open, and so I'm staring out at the landing because my door's wide open, and I'm looking towards the door, and I'll admit, yeah, I was a bit tired, but still, I do know the difference between being a little bit tired and physically seeing somebody standing there. Because at this stage I would have been about 13, and at that age your mind isn't that vivid, and so I'm just staring at the door, and then suddenly I just saw this figure like appear. I'd say appear. It wasn't really a fade. It was just literally she wasn't there, and then she just was there for a second. And I say a second longer than that. She was looking in my general direction, and this time it's easier to see her because she's not walking anywhere. She's just standing, and she's got this gown on. She's got the long, dark, dirty hair, and it's definitely the same woman. But the thing is, this time I actually saw like her standing there. The weird thing is that I say she was looking at me, but she didn't actually have a face. It was mainly just hair, and like she had hands and everything. So, but her face wasn't there. It was just sort of like imagine just looking at a wig where there isn't a head, just the hair, floating without a face. They're just gone, and standing there for ages. And I'm just staring at her. And then eventually it just became too much. I shut my door and just forgot about it and went back to bed. And after that I hadn't seen her for a while. But until, say, about 2 years after, so this year. But I was walking home towards the house, and my mum was decorating my room. So the door to this room was open, and I could see through the window like her in my room up the ladder decorating, and the light from my room was sort of shining into the hallway, so because the door was open, from the window I could see quite a clear shot of the hallway, and as I was staring I saw this like shadowy sort of translucent grey figure, quite similar to the woman, it probably was, but it's got that distance, walking across past the window and into the wall. So at first I assumed it must have been my mum going into the airing cupboard, but then she was in my room. I could see her up the ladder, and I knew that there's like nobody else in the house because that was about a month after my brother moved out, and there wouldn't have been anyone around. So I kept staring up there, and then I saw it happen again. I saw the woman walk towards the cupboard, the wall sort of area, again, but she didn't. It wasn't like she walked back and then forward again. She just walked, and then she walked again, just like a tape, just like when she walked into the bathroom twice. So I was looking, and then at this point I got that urge where, do you know that feeling where you just know that it isn't somebody? Like you think, okay, that can't be my mum. And then it happened again, so I walked there a third time. And at this point I'm quite close to the house, so I walked in through the back and ran upstairs very quickly. See my mum just in my room painting, up the ladder painting the ceiling. It's just it couldn't have been her. She was wearing completely different like coloured clothing to what I saw the woman as. And then and I just said I just sort of looked at her and said, "Oh, how long have you been working?" And she hadn't noticed anything either. But a few months beforehand, when I was asleep, my mum was asleep, and my mum was asleep downstairs, and she was woken up by like massive banging, really loud banging, and she assumed it was like somebody outside. But she kept hearing it, and then eventually she realised that it couldn't have been next door or outside because it was so loud that it must have been in the house. And then after the banging, she recognised the sound of when the hairdryer is used, when it's put down on the floor, it makes a scraping sound. And she recognised that exact sound, but it was, rather than it just going like across, it was going to keep being like pushed against the floor, making the sound. So she's gone upstairs, and she walked into my room, and I was fast asleep. Walked into my brother's room, and he was fast asleep. And she knew that it couldn't have been anyone. And then, like, the next day she was telling me about it, and she was recreating the sound, and she said it sounded exactly the same. So it was somebody banging on the floor, and she got the hairdryer and ran it across the floor and said it sounded just like that. Which is strange, because that's the same area as where the hairdryer is where I first saw the woman, or where I saw her walking into the room, into the bathroom, and when I saw her standing there. So when my mum was redecorating my room, I was staying in my old room, the one that I was sleeping in when I saw the woman looking in my general direction. But of course this is like 2 years on. And I'd shut the door, and my mum was, because she was decorating my room, the light from my room was shining in a way where it's just touching the bottom of the door. And so the light in the room I was staying in isn't working, like the bulb just isn't working, so it's dark in there. And then I looked towards the door, and do you know when somebody walks past the light under a door and you can see their shadow blocking the light, like feet? I saw that go past, and I was just looking, and I was just like... And then I opened the door, and my mum was up the ladder still, like doing the ceiling. So it couldn't have been her, so I shut it again, and then a few seconds later I saw the same thing. The same direction and the same place as where I saw the woman walking past towards the wall. So I'm assuming that might have been connected. My cat had walked in, so she'd sort of pushed the door, and it just slightly opened, so from where I was sitting I could look out of the door, but it's not that much open. And my cat had pushed the door open a tiny bit, and she jumped up on my lap, and she was really calm, just like purring away, and then I was on the computer, and then suddenly she just sort of looked straight up, and she was just staring, and then I was looking, I couldn't see anyone, but she was looking at the place where I saw the woman walking past, like towards the door, and that's where she was staring. So, and they say that children and cats, or animals in general, are the people who most see sightings of ghosts and things like that, so I'm just assuming that might be connected. The thing is, I don't necessarily believe that the ghost is evil. My mother does, she thinks that it's from hell, but I'm not as religious as that. But I don't necessarily think that ghosts are evil. I don't necessarily think that they're even the dead at all, because I think when we are alive we give off certain energies for our emotions, saying it's emotions are chemicals throughout the body, and I think when we're at our most vulnerable and expressing our most strongest emotions, such as maybe love, happiness, but negative ones like sadness and anger, we release a lot of energy, and that energy is sometimes replayed, like could be even during when we're alive, maybe hundreds of years after we die or whatever. And that's what I think ghosts are. I think they're a memory or replayed energy, like a tape, just played like over and over again. And that's why I never saw the woman walking back on herself. I just saw her in two different places. I can't deny what I saw. I've tried to, but no, I saw a woman.